Hi everybody, welcome back to La La Land, and today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review of the very first Alex Rider book, Stormbreaker. So, let's just go down the rabbit hole with it. Alright, so for you guys who haven't read the book, this story is basically about a boy who lives in England whose name is Alex, and I think he's like 15 years old. Or is he 14? He's like 15 or 14, and he lives with his uncle and his like caretaker housekeeper who's a foreign exchange student becoming a nurse, Alex. And he goes to school. It's just a pretty normal life for him. And then his uncle dies, and just kind of, it flips his world sort of upside down, and pieces of the story that he's being told about his uncle just aren't kind of making sense for him. So he just goes into this investigation mode and basically finds out that his uncle was a spy, and now the agency he works for wants to recruit him. So that's basically the storyline, and I don't think I gave too much away there, but if I did, I'll just cut part of it out. Anyway, so this story was just really good, and one of the things I really liked about the story was Alex. He was just a really great main character. He was very smart and capable, and you really liked him. It was interesting. One of the reasons why I started reading these was because I watched the show, which you should go check that out and my review of it, and just kind of seeing the elements they took, and sort of, I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely the same Alex, or like some things would be a little more obvious, and it was just very interesting to see what they would do with him. It was just very interesting to see the transition from book to movie. But honestly, I really liked Alex. He's super talented, and just, you kind of get to like discover all his like talents. Like, it's always just really interesting just to kind of know what he can like do, like how smart he is, how capable he is, and it's really exciting to follow along with him. And he's pretty funny. Like, he's not like hilarious, like he's not one of those just like goofy people, but he's pretty funny sometimes. I laughed a couple of times, and he's just a smart, bright, talented person, and it's really fun following along with him, and I really liked his character. The author's writing in this story is really good. It's just very clear and immersive, and you get a really good feel for sort of this story. You get just like each character is just written so well. Just, I think the only thing I had troubles with was when he was like describing like layouts. It could be pretty confusing, and I'd like have to like reread it a couple times because I couldn't quite understand what he was trying. Like, I was like trying to get like the picture in my head, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense, what's happening? But other than that, just like the characters, the thoughts, the action, just everything was very fluid and clear and just really gripping. And just this storyline in general was just very gripping. It was very fast paced, and just like, it had a very unique plot. Of all the sort of like things that sort of would be like the spy sort of, like, of all the things that like are, it just had a very interesting plot and storyline where sort of the big bad thing you had to stop wasn't what it usually is. Like, it kind of was interesting. It wasn't like a bad thing. It was actually a very smart sort of decision. It was a very technological decision, and it was just very unique, and I enjoyed that. I could see why they developed Point Blank instead of Stormbreaker, but I really enjoyed the plot and storyline to this. Like the TV show, one of the things I really enjoyed was that it's not just the mission. It's getting ready for the mission. It's the journey to the mission. It's the steps you take to get to the mission, and then it's the mission. And I really enjoyed each step and each stop we had to take. Sometimes it can just be like kind of boring when stuff like in other books when that's going on, but in this one I really enjoyed it. I loved all the points we got to take and all the characters we got to meet. It was exciting, it was fun, I really enjoyed it. And in all honesty, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like this book. I was kind of worried I wasn't, but I ended up just really enjoying it. I was so completely gripped by it, and it was super good. This was like a 4.5-hour book, and I read it in one day. Actually, like, it was less than a day because I started it at like 8 o'clock at night, and I was like doing stuff, and then I like ended up finishing it. I like stayed up till like 2 or something in the morning finishing it because it was just so good. And I just gotta say, that last scene in the book, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, the last scene in the book, like, so like the climax and just everything, just like, I loved it. I loved all of that. And then it just does this twist, not like twist, but it just does this like abrupt, just like smack you over the face sort of. And then the end scene, the very last scene, it's just the pièce de résistance. I don't know how to pronounce that word, and I don't know if I'm using it correctly. It was just a beautiful scene. It was just like, I don't want to say it was like the best scene in the book, but it was just so perfectly written, and I loved it. It was like the best written part in the, like, I don't know, it was like my favorite. I loved this last scene so much. The characters, the dialogue, the meanings behind the meaning behind it, just all the layers and depths of emotions and motive. It was so perfect, and I loved it. And then it just hits you over the head with this like music. Like, I listened to the audiobook, and there was just like, it didn't even give you like, it gave you like 2 seconds to digest what just happened, and then it's just like, and it was so good. I loved it so much. It was just so great. It was such a fun adventure action origin story, and just, oh, like, the things, it like had really good, like a reluctant hero blackmail sort of, that sort of trope, and it was just done so perfect. And it was just so good. It was just amazing. It had great pacing, plot, it had an amazing climax, such a good story, and it had some mystery and some solid characters, and just really fun, and I really loved it, and it was just so good. And I wasn't expecting to like it this much, but I did. And this book gave me book hangover so badly. I was trying to read The Fourth Ranger's Apprentice, and I couldn't. Like, I literally couldn't move on. I was just wallowing in this, just like I loved it, but I'm so sad it's over, and I'm just stuck for like a couple of days, and just I just couldn't move on. It was just so good, and I really didn't expect it to be this good. Not only because it was the first book in the series, but also just because I didn't know if the first book was going to be very good, if it was going to take me a while to get into it. But I really loved it, and I had just lots of fun, and I'm going to give it 4.2 stars, just because, yeah, that's what I'm going to give it. But it was just such an amazing book, and I really loved it. If you guys watched the TV show, some of the characters are a little different. Like, that's not like a huge thing. Like, I think Alex was a little more like colder, not as involved and stuff. I'm just gonna cut that part actually, but it was a really good book. I really loved it, guys. You should definitely check it out because it was just a really great story and I had lots of fun reading it. So definitely check it out. I really just can't wait to see this story continue. Like, I'm so excited. I had to immediately, I like couldn't wait to see the story where I had to immediately get the next one, but then like my library didn't have it, so I was just waiting forever, and just, it was just, I'm so happy I started this series. I really am. I'm just very happy I started this series. Please like this video, comment below what you thought of this book, what you thought of this story, if you'd like to see more content. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and ring the bell so you can see more of me, and I will see you guys next time.